The campaign trail heats up as Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump zero in on those key battleground states that could decide who takes President Biden's seat in the White House. Harris rolling out the red carpet in Michigan during a joint rally with her running mate Tim Walz later on today. That rally features singer-songwriter Maggie Rogers. Meanwhile, Trump returns to Georgia to attend a National Faith Advisory Board event before then holding a rally in Atlanta. Donald Trump faces new controversy today after his major rally at Madison Square Garden in New York over the weekend. Our CBS News team is following every move these candidates make. We'll get to Allison Novelo with the Harris campaign in just a moment. But first, CBS News correspondent Nikole Killion is in Atlanta with the latest from the Trump campaign. Nikole, thanks so much for being with us. What can we expect to see from Trump today?
Well, the former president is going to be appearing at this arena behind me later today. As you mentioned, he is currently at another faith-based event. But certainly what a lot of folks are still talking about is that Madison Square Garden rally last night in New York, where it really wasn't the former president's comments that got a lot of attention, but those speakers preceding him, including a comedian who made a number of racist comments and jokes, particularly around Latinos, African Americans. The Trump campaign, for its part, is saying that it did not review these jokes ahead of time or vet them ahead of time, and that they don't represent the views of the former president.
And Nikole, CBS News polling shows a gender gap among voters. 43% of registered voters feel like efforts to promote gender equality is going too far, and 41% of women feel it's not going far enough. Does the former president have a final message for women ahead of Election Day?
Well, I think you're seeing the former president, to a certain extent, lean into that gender gap. The vice president, for her part, as well, in terms of that spread between men and women. I mean, just over the weekend, we saw the former president appear on a podcast with Joe Rogan, the former UFC host and TV host, who has a very huge following. It was probably one of the longest interviews that he has given, going some 3 hours over a range of topics, some policy related, but a lot of off-topic issues as well, including about extraterrestrial life. So look, but it racked up millions and millions of views. So that's really kind of what the campaign is after, doing some of this micro-targeting to niche groups, understanding that, any particular demographic can kind of swing the election potentially. So that is certainly the former president's appeal there. But certainly to women, I mean, we have seen him in the past. I mean, it was just about a week or two ago where he did this roundtable with women here in Georgia, although that did draw some controversy as well for some of his comments around IVF and abortion. But that being said, he has tried to make inroads with women, but as we continue to see in the numbers, that gender gap still remains.
All right, Nikole Killion live for us in Atlanta for us. Thank you so much, Nikole. All right, let's bring in CBS News campaign reporter Allison Novelo for more on the Harris campaign. Harris returns to Michigan after appearing on stage alongside former First Lady Michelle Obama. This was her message to voters. Take a listen.
I lay awake at night wondering what in the world is going on. And it's clear to me that the question isn't whether Kamala is ready for this moment, because by every measure, she has demonstrated that she's ready. The real question is, as a country, are we ready for this moment? Are we willing to do what it takes to get her across the finish line, or are we going to let ourselves get distracted and fall for the scam? Are we going to lose sight of the dire consequences if we come up short?
And Allison, the First Lady's comments, the former First Lady's comments, generating a lot of buzz online. What message can we expect to hear from Vice President Harris today?
No, that's, tonight we are expecting to see actually former President Barack Obama here in Philadelphia at the Temple University, right? And he is a very popular Democrat, one of the top surrogates that has been launched for the Harris campaign. And between him, Michelle Obama, and others, including some celebrity endorsements like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Eminem, and, tonight we're going to be seeing Bruce Springsteen and John Legend, right? So between some of these surrogates, Democratic voters are walking away fired up for the campaign. They've been really helpful at shoring up some support from some of those on the fence Democrats that might not have been so enthusiastic just a few months ago when we had a different Democratic nominee, right? So that's what they've been helping us with, or helping the Harris campaign with. They've been injecting enthusiasm and shoring up support with some of those on the fence Democrats. Now, I was at Obama's first event here in Pittsburgh not so long ago, and I remember seeing a very long line of supporters outside the event, eager to hear what he had to say. And, you know, there were some viral moments that came from that. One of them being Obama talking about the economy and how he, might have handed a good economy over to former President Trump. So for some of those voters that are sort of on the fence, hoping to hear the message from the Harris campaign and not quite able to hear Harris or Walz themselves, some of these surrogates are really making a huge difference in getting that campaign message out.
All right, Allison Novelo from Pennsylvania for us. Thanks so much, Allison.